Indianapolis, the racing capital of the world. Since 1909, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has been the undisputed pinnacle of the racing world. This is the place where legends are made and hearts are broken. This is the one race everyone wants to win. For the first time in its 54-year history, the SCCA National Championship Runoffs travels to Indianapolis. With nearly 1,000 entries in 28 different classes, the Runoffs is the biggest auto race in the world. It features the best amateur drivers in the country vying for the title of national champion. One legendary track, one epic race, one shot at glory. The SCCA Runoffs starts now.
Well, welcome everyone here to Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 54th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. I'm Jeff Lepper here with Dorsey Strader. We'll have Hayward Wagner down on pit lane. It's H production. These are the slowest of the production categories, but doesn't mean that there's any less of the modifications done to these cars. Let's just for a quick update. Dorsey, talk about this class for us.
Well, H production, this is where I started, believe it or not. This is my first class I ever run, and we got 46 cars. H production used to be things like Bug-Eye Sprites, Fiat 850s, little small displacement, 900 cc's, under 1 liter. Not that way anymore.
We'll talk about how they're going to get those H production cars around this course here with your track map presented by Mazda.
Well, it's a long track, and one of the things is it's got a huge front straightaway, 3,700 feet to be exact. As you go down into turn 1, it looks like a 90. It's not. It's about a 110-degree corner. There's a big curb there you don't want to get into, and it's very technical in that point. The infield of Indy, as you well know, is flat with no grip. So the second segment is on the back straightaway. You come off of turn 6A, and that's your back straight, and that's the second best place to pass other than turn 1 is into turn 7. Now, when you leave turn 7, it's the S's. It's a very rhythmic session of the racetrack, 11 through 14. You build speed, but then there's the chicane at 12 and 13. That slows you up, because if you didn't slow up, you're already doing like 90 when you come onto that straightaway, and it's a long straightaway.
Yeah, 3,700 feet long, like you mentioned there, and that completes a lap here with our track map presented by Mazda. And for an update on pit lane, cars are rolling out. Let's get down to the third member of our team, Hayward Wagner.
Guys, it's very possible that we have saved the best for last with H production. 2 years ago at Daytona, we had 3 cars cross the finish line simultaneously. One of them was backwards. Last year, it was Jason Isley and it was Brian Lynn battling it out for the national championship, a race that was so good that Lynn took the Mark Donahue Award for the best runoffs drives on the street of that championship. This year, you've got Isley up front, you've got Lynn a few spaces back, and then there's that Ron Bartel guy between the two who's got a few championships in the class of his own.
Ron Bartel and I raced in that class. That's how long he's been in this class. A lot of these cars I'm looking at, I raced against back over the years. It used to be, like I say, open top cars. It's not that way. As you see Volkswagens out there, you see a bunch of a different variety of cars, newer and older. Mini Cooper right there. Datsuns are in there.
It really is one of those old legacy sort of classes, like you still have the MGs, the Sprites, the midgets. You'll see one of the greatest, midgets that you have in the country. All these Huffaker prep cars, Brian Lynn's car, Mike Cummings. You'll see these great little right-hand drive cars. You can't even have a right-hand drive car anymore unless it was previously logged book before 1996.
You saw an MG midget there, a Bug-Eye Sprite there. You saw a Volkswagen Rabbit with the top cut off. A convertible one, which of course they never did make. There's a BMW right there. MG midget again, a Honda. I mean, everything's in there is MGB. So a lot of different cars and varieties of combinations of cars will fit in this class. Makes it a very competitive class.
And with Ron Bartel, that Hayward alluded to earlier, 26 runoff appearances, 2 national championships in 2000 and 2001. He led every single lap both of those years from pole at Mid-Ohio. There's a good shot, that number 32 yellow H production car, Mike Cummings. I know he's got his family watching there. I heard from Julie Cummings, Julie Bumgardner now in Reno, Nevada, and her son Morgan watching Grandpa go race here. But yeah, Jason Isley, now you got this brand new Toyota Yaris, and Jason sort of developed that platform in club racing and now here at the Runoffs, and this is, I think, the 3rd generation of the Yaris that he's competed at here at the Runoffs.
One of the newer cars in the field, if you will. But again, it wasn't on the, it doesn't look like the old MG midgets, or if you look at that Volkswagen convertible back there, there's a lot of different ingenuity, if you want to call it that, here in this class.
Yeah, Mark Brockie in a Mazda 2 as well, so one of the newer platforms call. And I believe that was sort of a call from SCCA that a lot of these older cars are going to start going away, transition to vintage racing. Some parts are becoming obsolete on these things and having to reinvent them.
Triumph Spitfire. You just can't go out and get those pieces anymore. And, you know, quite honestly, what secondarily happened was that those type of cars, when you restore them and you put them in a environment of a restored real-time car, they're worth more money than the race car is. So why would you take the engine and the transmission and put it in a race car?
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that at all. There's a good shot of the number 85 starting shotgun on the field here today. Had some teething problems getting up to speed and leaving off into a spare car. So that's a new entry here as they're lining up, coming into turn number 12 to take the green flag. Jason Isley in that number 99 Toyota Yaris. Outside pole, number 60. How about Visa Selgren? And then Christopher Scarfasma out of Wheaton, Illinois. And don't count out that fourth place there, Ron Bartel, one of the best looking MG midgets you will find in the country.
Isn't that just a beautiful car? And you talk about Huffaker built cars, there's a lot of them over the years in many, many different classes.
Coming around here, and you'll wait for that green flag as they go onto the front stretch here. Nice pairing side by side. Torquey engine on that little Toyota Yaris, kind of HP standards. Not sure if he quite has the horsepower there, and definitely has a heavier weight than some of these lightweight nimble cars. Makes for a great parity here in H Productions. They're on the straightaway. You see the big scoring pylon there, the grandstands on both sides. It's Indy, and it's underway. Green flag for H Production.
Boy, that starter held that green flag back a long way. I was wondering if it was going to come out. Now we've got 6 wide headed toward turn 1.
Oh, the hard on the brakes down here. The heavier cars will have a disadvantage. These lightweight Sprites and midgets and the Triumphs down here in the braking zone. 5 wide as they look down to the inside. Look at that old Datsun 210 right near to the inside.
He's in trouble. He gets it wiggling, and there was contact, but everybody made it through okay.
Oh, right off to the inside, though, you see that little Honda CRX there to the outside. Some damage to the door on Mueller's car, the number 64. Daniel Meller in that Datsun 210 into 3rd place.
Everybody sorted that out. That could have got a lot more ugly. I see tires rubbing back in the back there. I saw tire smoke right about, well, don't see it now.
Let's take a quick look here back again. You see it's just past the incident, but still 4 or 5 wide. Brian Lynn made some contact with little Honda CRX there as well. Oh, and Mike Cummings spinning to the inside.
Did a good job of missing that gravel trap, staying out of that. You see a couple cars that did get put around backwards.
Yeah, not sure what happened back there. You saw that Mike Cummings in that Volkswagen. I believe that was a Scirocco of William Traynor involved in that incident as well. Just nowhere to go. Everybody get bottlenecked there, and the incident happening there is look at the inside here between that midget and the Sprite, sorry, and going through there into turn number 9.
Dropping, well, a lot of cars dropping wheels and so forth as they're trying to get this sorted out and get a rhythm going. Right now, there's no rhythm at all. Everybody just, that car's been smoking the whole time, and I thought there was tire rub, but I think that's engine actually.
Yeah, Eric Vickerman in that Honda Civic SI, I believe. Nope, that is Greg Gopper, sorry.
Keep an eye on that. That didn't look like, I thought at first he got bumped and there was some tire rub, but it looked more like the center of the car.
Yeah, hopefully that's not too terminal because he's got a great run going. There's that number 77 Volkswagen Rabbit. You talked about that, Dorsey, with that roof cut off. That's Jack Banda. That was the car that was backwards at Daytona, crossing the line for the finish in that epic battle between Lynn Yaris and his Yaris and Jason Isley.
There's been, I don't know, there's probably half a dozen of those that have been done like that where somebody's cut the top off that Rabbit. And they actually are a pretty good race car.
Ron Bartel on the draft over the Yaris down here to turn number 1.
You see that driver in that car been waving to everybody that he's got an issue.
Yeah, not quite sure right there, the number 53, and you see the 15 back there with Copper waving there.
Yeah, a lot of guys waving. They're trying to tip off their other drivers of something they're seeing. Could be a caution out.
Yeah, Rolf Lindo in that Volkswagen Rabbit. There's a good shot of that number 60 as you see.
Yeah, there we go.
Number 5 backwards.
That's a good thing. What those drivers were doing by waving their hands around like that was to try to identify to the guys behind them, hey, I'm seeing something up here. You might not be able to see it, but we got a caution out. Let's heads up here. This time of the day, there's a couple things going on too. One of which is that the sun's right in your eyes. You know, it's 5 o'clock or just about 5 o'clock and the sun's in your eyes, and you might be in one of these little bug-eye Sprites behind one of those Volkswagens. You can't see over that or around it. So, you know, that hand signal is a really good thing.
Yeah, you see Eric Vickerman and Brian Lynn side by side down here in turn number 7. You got to get through there really easily because you set yourself up for the S's, Dorsey, and if you get behind early, you get behind late too.
Yeah, well, that's the deal. These corners here at Indy on the infield, this is a very technical racetrack, as you well know. You get behind, like what you're talking about, is if you get off on your rhythm on the first part of the corner, it leads to another corner right away, and then you're off in the second one as well. Now we got yellow flags all the way down the front straightaway, which is a no passing signal. Nobody can pass on that straightaway, but there's an issue there where it needs to be cleaned up, and that's how they're handling it.
Yeah, the number 5, Jeremiah Reed, as you see, they're pulling him. They have him nose to tail. It looks like it possibly could be a brake problem as you have a truck behind him and a truck ahead of him, all with a tow strap to keep him from not rolling into the truck in front of him. So I got to believe that's brake on Jeremiah's Reed. And then the 53 car, Ralph Lindo, having problems in that Blue Rabbit. We saw him waving earlier, and I'm not really sure if he's going. There's a waving yellow down in turn number 1, I think, still for that incident for sure. At the start.
Hats off to Indianapolis Motor Speedway on how they've dealt with this 3 days runoffs. Lots of cars, 1,100 cars, and they have done such a fantastic job of keeping these races green and clean all the way through. They got a great staff of people, know what they're doing, and they know how, that point that you just brought up right there where they had a tow hook on the front and the back, you don't see that anywhere else.
No, and they're doing that here on a hot racetrack as well. So great job by the course workers as well, monitoring with those yellows and those white flags, letting all these drivers they know. And also heads up by all the drivers. As long as the drivers remind their P's and Q's, we can have those hot tows. We don't have to go to those full course yellow. But how about Daniel Melder under full attack now on the Volkswagen Golf? I believe that's Christopher Shadosma.
On a Datsun 1200. And when I was racing Datsun. My brother was racing Datsun. My best friend, we had a 1200 in our group of guys too. That trick little car, pretty cool car.
We had them under the Nissan tent where I was pitted, and they did nothing but work on that car. I think they had the head off the car, the engine out of it, they had the rear end out of it. The car's been pretty much rebuilt. Here's Bartel trying to look on the inside of Isley. Now that Toyota Yaris with the big greenhouse is going to create a huge hole in the air and allow that MG midget to sort of climb up to the back of that Yaris and see if he can get a draft down the straightaway here.
Good point. That's one of the latter model midgets that were built before they quit making them, and Ron Bartel's been running that for so many years in that same livery. I've seen that car now for at least 3 decades.
Well, you see that Yaris coming out, got a little bit more torque, a little bit more engine down the straightaways, but a lot heavier car, and also being that front-wheel drive platform, we're going to have to see if Isley can maintain those tires all race long.
Much bigger greenhouse, too, pushing a lot of air there as Bartel's tucked underneath, not pushing any air at all.
There's Brian Lynn, your 2016 Runoffs champion there.
He's run everything in the MG category too. He's run midgets and he's run that bug eye and always the yellow and red color.
He's got the F production car as well. This is different than his H production car, so and they look identical. I think you could probably just switch the stickers and nobody would know.
Well, most of the pieces are the same with the exception of the engine and so forth.
I still like that right-hand drive, though, the typical European, British.
You ever tried one of those?
Never.
It's not easy.
Oh, there's the damage to Mike Cummings. We saw that on the very start. Heavy damage to his car. Devastating for him. Recently got a chance to enter retirement and wanted to travel the country just doing races, and gets a chance to come to the runoffs here and ends it on the first corner of his first lap. But still get a chance to race at Indy. Got to have a smile on his face.
you know. I mean, I'd never ran Indy. Never will. You got to do it. That's pretty cool.
The good news is you did see him out of the car, so know that he is okay. Like I said, I know his daughter's sitting there watching our live stream at SCCA.com, and you can follow along segment times to see where your car or driver is quickest, all the results. And a little over a week or so, we'll have all the replays from the live stream here at SCCA.com posted up on the website.
Small displacement engines, and they're twisting these, the newer ones, particularly that Toyota in the front, the Datsun right there, the 1200. You know, these guys are running 9,000 plus RPM. So, I mean, they're really wringing the neck on these deals.
Wow, to see Jason Isley in that little 2015 Toyota Yaris, of course, Racer.com, Racer Magazine. If you don't have your subscription, you better get one today, because they actually have the coverage of the runoffs in Racer.com. They have a lot of stuff going on the website there covering these 54th running of the runoffs, as you see. Daniel Miller there.
Too.
Look at Bartel, though. He was on the
Yeah,
back bumper of the Yaris, and now he's starting to back into these clutches here. The battle for second,
He
Dorsey.
is. I'm wondering if he's running into a little difficulty on the car, or if maybe tire temperatures are coming. It's cool outside. It's been cool all day today, actually. When you guys got here, it was in the 90s, and now we're talking about a day today that's barely in the 60s.
Yeah, right now we're, well, it says 68 on there, but I believe it's a lot cooler now. Some cloud covers come over. It's starting to get into the daylight, or nighttime here, twilight area, and there's a good shot of Ron Bartel, that classic roll cage just covering the helmet. Minimalist roll cage there for Aero as well, that open cockpit midget. See the damage earlier there on Daniel Meller's driver door during the start.
Datsun 1200 behind him, a Volkswagen Rabbit convertible, which I never made behind that, and a Honda.
What a great mix of cars. And these all run, of course, Goodyear or Hoosier race slicks. Some of the cantilevered sidewall. You know, what's the difference between like a radial or a cantilever? You talk about this bias by.
You know, they actually, instead of shaving camber, in Show'em stock, they used to actually shave camber into the tire because you couldn't get camber out of the suspension. So what they did was they molded camber into the tire. So the mold itself has got, instead of being a flat tread across the surface, it actually tapered off one end to give it the same effect as having a camber in the suspension.
So a lot of these tires and cars that run on the smaller, lighter weight cars run that cantilever tire just to get that extra little bit of advantage because of the restrictions on rules for the camber there. Good stuff to even see the tire manufacturers taking apart here for what these drivers have to come out and get done.
Tire technology has come so far from when that Datsun 1200 was running, say. You know, back then, the only tire that was, any manufacturer that was doing any tires for a car like that was Goodyear. And there was probably 2 compounds that you'd run, but the technology was the same on either compound, just a softer or a harder tire. Nowadays, you've got street tires that have more grip than those tires ever had.
It's amazing to see, and you can see that. You can go, I know we do a lot of the stuff with the HSR and SVRA and everything like that with the historic racing, being a historic guy that you are, that these guys and gals that get out there and they race these cars, you can just slap on a new set of tires and go faster than that car ever went without any changes the way it ran back in the 50s and the 60s.
The grip level that the tire affords is far more than any of the pro racers in Can-Am, say, or Trans Am ever had. And with that, more stresses are put on the chassis, and that's not always a good thing.
You got to think how fast those cars would go on new technology way back then. Still doing a great job. That number 20 started in 3rd place, Christopher Shasofsma. He's up to that battle for 4th. There's a great scrap going on with the number 59 Honda CRX.
And a 2002 BMW in the 25 right there.
Yeah, doing a superb job here, that old 2002. I really like the shape of those BMWs. I've always been a fan of those cars.
They were really good cars, too, and they're worth some money now. I see a lot of those in vintage, and they're cool. They're really cool. And the engines, 1600 and 1800, but put a lot of power out.
Well, Stephanie Funk in that CRX, she's doing a good job. Going to battle back here in the inside, turn down into turn number 7.
I like the copper front end with the red back. You don't see that combination very often.
Got to think that's Larry Funk. Got to be a little relation there, I'm sure. Carrying that inside tire. No, there's a
smoker there. Oh, and one blew up on the inside of the back straight.
Yeah, Honda CRX.
And it's pulled off. Good job by the driver to get offline right quick right there.
Yeah, John Salisbury in the 34 smoking as well in his Austin Healey Sprite.
And I see that smoke coming from the center of the bottom of the car, which is not good. I do see some oil.
Some fluid there. Yeah,
oil.
Frank Swartz. So hopefully he got that offline quick enough and didn't put anything down there on the racing line, and we'll be able to keep underway.
Little tire mark on that 25 wasn't there before.
Yeah, it's brand new as well. Talk about going down there to turn number 1. So those two actually made contact. We're getting report in turn number 3. So Stephanie Funk and Gordon Jones in that BMW 2002.
Got a donut.
It says it's a BMW 1600, so not really sure.
Well, it's a 2002, but it's a 1600 engine, yeah.
1600 engine, and you see that Mazda 2 just lurking right behind him. One of the newer builds, Mark Brocky, out of Coon Rapids, Minnesota. The Blackjack-sponsored Mazda 2.
Ooh, parts of cars laying out there.
Oh man, there's pieces littered here, and that's I don't want to say it's a typical experience.
Oh, the Datsun's blown up.
And look, there's he's in the oil there.
Is in the oil.
That's what happened. He probably got stuck in that oil there and got loose and loses the lead, and that's right on the racing line.
And
that's
I'm
from
not
that
seeing a surface flag. Oh, he got a little help right there.
Oh, he got a little help, and he was in the oil.
Then he got in the oil.
But you can see his tires, how shiny they are.
You can see the oil And I don't see a surface flag. I'm not sure that the corner workers even have a clue that that's out there.
Oh, that's devastating for him as he was running in that third position and dropping back. It looks like he'll be slotted back behind the number 77 of Jack Bana. Oh, it's just devastating for his chances here at that podium spot. But it is Jason Isley extending his lead over Bartel with the problems that he's having, falling back in the clutches. And you don't know if Bartel maybe be saving some time, trying to back that car up, but you can't even see him in sight now. There just is a glimpse of Bartel.
Yeah,
that's the gap that Isley has now, over 4 seconds.
He drops a wheel right there, but I think Jason's just driving away. He was on the pole pretty good, and you know, he's driving a good job right. There's another spin. That's probably that same oil area. I bet you it is.
Yep, it is right there on the exit of turn number 6. There's the number 60. Nope, sorry, that is down there on the exit of the yeah, right there at turn number 13, I believe there.
If I was driving the 60, I'd be claiming oil.
Yeah, that's what I would say, right? This is production. This is an H production class. You can claim there's oil in the ground right there. But that was your outside pole sitter, Silligren, and he was running in the 6th place when he made that spin.
Jason Isley, Toyota, just like look at the thing on a rail.
Yeah, TRD sponsored, Hoosier Tires and Racer.com. One of the writes a lot of articles for Sports Car Magazine as well. Just a great ambassador here for Sports Car Club of America, and getting it done, gets to compete here, bringing the newer platform there. That's going to put Schaafsma down there in that 3rd position in that final podium spot, and Bana up back to 4th, Meller in 5th. So Meller will be doing what he can to try to work his way back up.
Big dent in the driver's door from the little help he had earlier on that Datsun. See it?
See, just yeah, you can see that was right on the start, and you can see him just still hitting that oil and getting that car sideways. But yeah, you're right, Dorsey. Looking back there, you don't see a surface flag over there.
No, I didn't. I never did see him put a flag out, and we could both see pretty. You know, from our aspect, it's easier than the corner workers. Right now, that sun is in your eye, even though it's overcast. Part of the sky right now is overcast.
Miller's got to think there might be something on the road. Here's a good scrap with Lynn, Vickerman, and Gopper, I believe. There, Singren and Gopper there in the back in the 15 car, side by side as they come out. The number 11, the Civic little hatchback there against that Sprite of the 21 of Lynn.
Brian Lynn is one guy you don't have to worry about rubbing fenders with. He drives cleaner than I've ever seen anybody do. A little oil smoke, it looks like, out of the car in front of him. Brian will run you hard, but he runs you clean.
Yeah, and Benezik there, and you saw Gopper had to get on the brakes, and that's going to kill that momentum as he comes down here in that hard braking zone. Right-hander of turn number 12, and he makes it a little bit deeper there than Lynn, and you got to worry about that little transition right there, carrying that inside wheel through the corner.
Lynn has tried to do the over-under, but he's got the smaller displacement engine. It doesn't have the torque for sure.
Gopper drops a couple wheels off. That'll kill his momentum. I think Brian Lynn had to check up, so he might have got away with one there.
Gopper's been around a long time, too, driving these cars. Nothing new about any of these drivers.
You see the number 82.
And it's the lead car there, the bug eye smoking off the left front corner, too. A lot of these cars showing some smoke.
Fred White in that little Honda CRX trying to make it another 4-way battle here for that 5th place.
Real small displacement on some of these cars. You know, you're talking about 800 cc's or smaller than motorcycles now, and far less power than what motorcycles make nowadays. You know, some of these cars back in their prime were 60 horsepower.
Wow, you think about getting that done, and even they were racing them way back then. Now Jason Isley. Heavy traffic here with Bartel, and look at Schaafsma there trying to get his way through the traffic. I think he got hung up a little bit there in turn number 7.
You see the agility of the MG Midget, how light it is. It's got small displacement, but it goes through the center of the corner really good, and he makes his ground right there. Unfortunately for him, we're at Indianapolis with 3,700 feet of straightaway. And that is not necessarily the strong point of that MG Midget.
Well, Fred White getting word running in a solid top 10 here. That is his first runoffs completion here. He blew his motor a week before the Mid-Ohio runoffs, so wasn't able to make it. So coming over here, and you got to wait a whole nother year, but what a great place to come, showing that in a strong top 10, battling for all the way up to 6th place with that 5-car battle.
feel so bad for these guys that race all year long, and this is such a huge event for everybody to be at Indy and to be at the runoffs in the first place, and to have something that take you out on the first day, you know, that it's not your doing, it just happens. It's sickening.
Well, you saw the big draft that Christopher Schaafsma got there. Ron Bartel's going to slot back in behind him. They'll get that lap traffic now. Can Bartel recover and try to battle back against that Volkswagen Rabbit? He'll have the advantage of the draft, as that Rabbit, as small as those Volkswagen Rabbits are, the MG Midget's just a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller. Yeah, he's in clean air back there as long as he stays behind. And he's doing a good job of doing that. You see every time he can, he tucks right up underneath the back end.
10 laps to go here, approaching the halfway mark as you come down here in that really tight and very confusing turn 6A section here, as Christopher Schaafsma up to second place. More action in H Production coming up next.
Coverage of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs is presented by Mazda. Driving matters.
Can you feel something without touching it? See something with your eyes closed. When everything is designed around you, the driver, you can. The Mazda 3.
Every stitch is a part of me. All these shapes and designs express our devotion to craftsmanship. I want people to feel our passion when they touch it and when they drive it.
The all-new Mazda CX-5.
And action continues here at the 54th running of the SCCA runoffs here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Got a good shot of Jason Isley, your leader, coming down the front straightaway here. Daniel Meller in that Datsun trying to recover from getting loose a little bit earlier there. Dorsey, the battling's going on here all throughout the field in H Production.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of debris on the front straightaway that I didn't pick up on before. There was a bunch of, I'm not sure, body parts or whatever laying back there. So possibly while we were away, we've had something go on back there. Oh, look at this bunch of cars headed to turn one.
Yeah, a lot of lap traffic, and it looks like one of the Honda Civic SIs just decides to go ahead and abort that. Doesn't want anything to do with that.
He didn't like any part of that. He said, I'm out of here. And that's an option you have. They told you, you know, you can take that. Look at the traffic jam here.
Oh, it's just starting to pile up, and this is that delicate chess battle that Greg Creamer talks about so much, having to work your way through the lap traffic and people just trying to survive to just get a finish, and other guys going for a medal or possibly a national championship.
46 cars, you know, you're going to catch up with traffic sooner or later.
That was Scott Irwin that bailed there in the number 81 Honda Civic SI. Here's your 2016 runoffs champion, Brian Lynn. Not having the runoffs that he was looking for. Still sitting in a top 5 run, but actually, sorry, he's back in the 8th position as he's working his way through traffic.
You can take that escape road around turn one if you feel like, you know, there's a clogged traffic or whatever you want to do. As long as you don't improve your position, you have an option to go straight there.
Daryl Saylor in the number 73, trying to do a good job of getting out of the way of the leaders as well. Daryl Hillman, at number 42, you see in the Volkswagen Rabbit. That's Angus Cromie. Wow, right to the inside.
Miscue. Yeah, twice they almost got together door to door.
That's your outside pole sitter, Vesa Silgren. Vesa from Chattanooga, Tennessee, just down the road, the Hoosier AMT Racing Engine ANSI Volkswagen Golf, sorry, the 60, that's Silgren in the HPD. That's Fittech.com Honda CRX.
Older style CRX, yeah.
That's one of the original chassis CRX too, 85 model. 86, you'll see the 89
cars,
to 91.
Those cars have won a lot of national championships in different classes. It's actually a really good car, good chassis.
You know, we talk about some of the classifications of cars. Obviously, H production, the lower displacement cars. You see a lot older cars. You see some of the newer cars as well, but you go like the touring categories. Those are mostly the newer cars, and they time out, and then that's production is the next place for them.
Somebody locked up tires up here going into turn one. You see the smoke lingering there.
So you have a newer car, you can race it in the touring categories, it becomes outdated, and you still got a chance to make additional modifications and then have it slot into production category.
And a lot of these cars have, by production, different size engines that will classify it in a different class as well. A lot of these 1600 cars also had 1800s that were put in them, BMWs, Datsun 510s, you know, and depending on what displacement engine you run, it dictates what class you're going to be put
So
into.
you can move up if you want.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of guys
And
like...
it's the same thing. You can run the same car 2 times in a weekend.
Yeah, Joe Huffaker competing in the F production class, GTL. We saw Mark Webber doing E production and F production in his Mazda Miata. So a lot of opportunities as the sun's starting to come back out here at IMS Speedway here. As you see that as your outside pole sitter, once again, Vesta Silgren in his Honda Civic SI modeled car. That number 10, one of my favorites, Eric Vickerman in his Austin Healey Sprite right-hand drive. And that's a historic car there when you have a right-hand drive car in SCCA competition.
My problem is I got a stupid left hand. And if you're driving right-handed and you have to shift left-handed, it's not good. Not for me.
See one of the
smoking
cars down the straightaway there having some motor, and the Bug-Eye Sprite, and you got Jason Isley still leading. He's pulled a little bit of a gap now over second place that we talked about over there, Schafsma, but Schafsma is 4.1. It was over 6 seconds before, so not sure if Isley's starting to pace this a little bit, or it's that front-wheel drive Yaris starting to fall off a little bit.
I did see Jason Isley, when he got behind that car and it started smoking, got out from behind that car in a real hurry. That's one thing you don't want to do. You know, you get up behind one of these and it starts to smoke, and you don't want oil down the front of your car or spin a car because somebody else has a problem.
Yeah, that's a Jesse Prather built engine in that Toyota Yaris as well, and there's a lot of engines in the production category that Jesse does.
Prather has built a lot of engines for this runoff. I don't know how many, but he is a busy boy building engines this year.
I'll have to hit him up, see what he can do in a Nissan 370Z engine.
I saw a picture of him with some disassembled engines for the runoffs. He had him. It was like a conveyor line of stuff, you know.
As well as building a brand new car for himself when he competed in the E-production category with that new RX-7 and ended up getting a podium spot with that car. Well, action here in our H-production category. 7 laps still to go, and in an H-prod car, that is a eternity.
I was thinking
IMS.
that. I was thinking that very same thing. You know, 7 laps doesn't seem like much, but 7 laps on these cars after they've already done, you know, 12 is actually quite a bit. Some of these cars are running big RPM, like I said before, and they wear parts out.
Got a good chance to follow along at SCCA.com. Got to appreciate Jay Griffin. Apparently that is not the same VW Cabriolet that was backwards at Daytona in 2015. It's a different chassis car, so thank you for that. And Tim Linrud, thank you so much. That is the same car that Lynn races in F production, just gets a different motor. So busy times here at the runoff. So when you're swapping engines out.
It helps when your friends text you and tune you up. Rob Elson helped me out a little bit. I didn't get it in time, but anyway, thank you, Rob, for correcting us. These guys that work this every day, they are aware of all the changes. We have 1,100 cars that were here. For us to be on top of 1,100 cars is probably impossible, as much as we might try, but our friends try to keep us honest.
They do. They're watching along, and they're very passionate for the ones that can't be here. I know there's a lot of people just sitting in the paddock area. You can't see around this whole track, but you can go watch a good area. And then you watch the live stream as well to kind of see what goes on here as the draft. This has been just a great battle between the number 11 of Benezik, Lynn, and Gopper. They've been swapping these positions back and forth all race long.
And the cars couldn't be any more different. Brian Lynn there in the Bug-Eye, it's as clean as can be. You know, and then you've got 2 of the taller sedan type. And those cars are going to be faster than Brian, more than likely on top end, but not so much on this infield.
Yeah, the infield is where the Bug-Eyes and the Sprites and the Healeys all have the advantage through the road course, the transitions back and forth, and then they get the newer chassis cars, get a little bit more, the unibody say, more power, but heavier weight. So it really tries to balance and equal out the field.
One thing about Rob, I was going to say Rob Wilson, but Brian Lynn's cars, just like all the Huffaker cars, are so darn clean. They look so nice. You know, the paint jobs are so good. The body fits so good. You know, they're just really slick machines.
Seeing a chance here to come down here into this really tight left-hander, but I noticed you can carry a lot of speed in there, and you really got to get those S's. We talked about it before. Turn 8, 9, and 10. 10 is the right-hander here, because this is really the third longest straightaway, because you're not going to be braking for turn number 11.
What's so hard about the S's is if you go in and you overshoot that first one, you never get back on your rhythm. You know, you're laying like a lame duck for the next 2 corners. You can't get back. You know, the speed that's lost is lost for that whole segment, not just the one corner.
You see another good shot here, the number 60 Honda CRX. And that's such a great platform. We talked about that for Sellegren over the number 10 of Vickerman. And yeah, Sellegren is starting to set some fast laps here. Isley's dropped to a 2:01 from a 1:57 as his fastest lap. Schasma going a little bit quicker, but how about Bartel slowing up? So we'll see if they can start running these cars down. Like we talk about Dorsey, it is a long race. The number 77 Banna, we haven't talked about that Volkswagen Rabbit, but he's right there behind.
Hand signals right there. You see the 2 midgets together. I think the black, the 10, is waving backwards to Brian Lynn. Say, come on, man, we got the same car. We need to work together, which is true. If they can do that.
And we've seen that in some of the other races. Spec Racer Ford, Mac Mizrantino was on the back bumper of Ayers the whole time trying to make that pass. And 2 cars can hook up and they can draft. You can pull away or you can run someone down.
And if you got a car like that that's agile on the infield, but it's lame in the straightaway, 2 of them can help one another in the straightaway. They can push each other along and get a couple more mile per hour that wasn't there by themselves.
Now in the production category, obviously see that right-hand drive as you see Vickerman looking to the outside, kind of got pinched off a little bit. That's going to kill his momentum. Can Brian Lynn pounce down here in turn number 7? But the opposite weight, you see the driver on the left versus the driver on the right. How big is that an advantage on a course that has mostly right turns?
You know, I haven't never done the other one. I'm not sure if it makes that much of a difference, but heck, it's got to be something on one corner versus the other. I mean, if all things are equal, that alone should make it different.
You got the weight on the inside of the corner.
Has definitely got the draft. He's watched. Let's see if he tries to help or if he tries to pop around. He's going to go around, I think.
Yeah, trying to look to the outside as Vickerman protects to the inside down here in turn number 12.
So that didn't work.
Lynn going to try the old over-under here.
That help me thing didn't work.
Nope, not at all.
Well, you got 4 laps to go either, you know, so.
Well, Jason Isley picks it back up. Must have heard my commentary from the car. How about this? 121 miles an hour in an H production car down the straightaway here.
Well, it gets antsy at the end. I mean, we're down to 3 or 4 laps to go, about to be 3 laps to go, and everybody now is just letting it hang out. Side by side, the 2 bug eyes.
Yeah, Brian Lynn will get the nod that time by. He'll move up to 7th. Gets around. You see Gopper trying to get around the number 11 of Benezik.
I think he will too. He's side by side with him coming in brakes. Oh boy, that was close.
And there is a yellow flag there. I'm not sure if Gopper got that pass done before the yellow, and I don't know what the yellow is, but it was a standing yellow there, so we'll have to see if we can see anything here on the track.
It happened before these guys got to the corner, so it was somebody in front of them.
You see a safety truck there backing up. There was a yellow flag waving.
There's the 90 Spitfire is backwards.
Yeah, that's Roaring and his Spitfire. And, that's a different little later year model Spitfire.
That wasn't what that yellow was. That's just happened to coincide to be happening at the same time or close to the same time.
That number 77 Volkswagen Rabbit.
Just so strange looking with the top cut off. It looked like a little wedge.
Well, they did make the Cabrio convertible Volkswagen Rabbit as well. And unfortunately, I was lucky enough for my mother to buy me one in high school. Thanks, Mom. Promptly gave that to my babysitter right away. That was pretty easy to get done with, but I was not going to be driving that thing around. It did hold surfboards in Hawaii pretty good, though. I can't lie about that.
And you're looking good. It's always important.
Yeah, wind blowing in your hair down the highway, the K1, H1 in Hawaii.
I remember the first year these things came out when they cut the top on them, and they actually, I remember down in Road Atlanta at the Runoffs back down there, one of these cars won. The first one I ever saw that had the windshield removed and the top taken off won the class.
It makes for good aero, gets that weight lower. And you see Daniel Meller back in that Datsun 210. But it is still Jason Isley Schaafsma in second, Bartel third, Banha. You see that's the battle for fourth as Mellor trying to close in on him. And Celegrin in that number 60 CRX just now crossing the yard of bricks. So the gap back to sixth, a little bit ways back.
That little Datsun motor 1200 was a 2-cylinder, 2 valve per cylinder push rod motor, and they still ran the thing at 9,000 revs. I mean, they just twisted it up like, of course, displacement was small, but gosh, it screamed.
Getting a chance to come through this little kink, turn number 5, flat out through there, hard on the brakes. You see a lot of different lines through here. You can go wide, make it one apex. You see Mellor there going to the inside, trying to just hug the inside, make the track as short as you can.
Those long duration corners like that, depending on what your car's doing, you either have to take it as a all the way around the inside one apex corner, or you end up doing a diamond because the car won't turn that long in the middle, so you end up being fast from the beginning and fast on the exit, but not so fast in the middle. The 1200 with a wiggle under braking lets you know for sure he's got all of it, getting as much corner speed as possible. Surprising amount of smoke out of all these cars.
Yeah, they're getting down to these later stages. They're leaking a little bit,
Yeah,
doing
I'd
some
say
different
so.
stuff. And
I would suspect it's pretty slippery, and you've got the sun in your eyes this time of night. Very cold track temperatures as the sun's gone down, like you were talking about. I doubt it's in the low 60s at the most. And again, the smoke out of the 75 that time.
you can see the sun shining in their eyes as well.
If this was Formula E, they'd be in trouble with that smoke.
See, wow. Oh, Mellor trying to get a little bit of a draft off that lap car. Lap car trying to go back up high to get out of his way, and then
got a good run off the corner. Used the draft at the last minute and popped around the outside. Takes the position. Now he's tucked up underneath the Volkswagen, trying to get some help there. That car's not happy in their braking. I don't know if it's got a little bit rear brake, but the 1200 when he brakes wags its tail first, which tends to make me think it's got just a little too much rear brake.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much bias there, and you can adjust that in H production. You can have a knob to want more front braking as you're working through a race. How do you usually adjust those brakes?
Well, you know what? Because these cars normally have that. In the 1200's case, it has a fuel cell at the back that's holding probably 20 some odd gallons, so 140 pounds of weight back there, which is about gone now. So the back might be getting light. So you'd want to bias, take some of that brake away. He's losing grip at the back because of weight for one thing, but he's also losing grip because it's a rear-wheel drive car and the rear tires are going off more than the fronts are.
So a lot of adjustments you can make inside these cars and get with that brake bias. Jason Isley, I believe, are coming around here to only one lap to go. Next time by, getting that white flag, number 77 Bana. There is Isley.
I think the Volkswagen's a 1600 if I'm correct. But those were pretty stout engines, to be quite honest. That's the same engine that ran Super V back in the day.
And you see he still has some lap traffic to contend with. Have Schaafsma on the backside just coming onto the oval, has the same lap traffic. Jason Isley doing a good job, and that gap at 6 seconds across the line this time.
And Isley, you know, look at him, he's calculated. He's just taking it real easy. These guys aren't.
Yeah, no, he got hung out a little bit there.
Yeah, he did.
On the lap traffic, and it's going to wake him up as he's trying to work his way around the number 19 Triumph. Thurston.
Actually, Fiat X19.
Oh, Fiat X19. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, the Triumph is a different layout there, but yeah, that Fiat X19.
A mid-engine car that Fiat made for a couple years.
Missing the windshield on that car as well.
This is a good race.
Mellor was able to get around him.
Yeah. He's got around the Volkswagen. Now can he hold him for one more lap? Oh, they're going to go at it pretty good. It's not over yet.
Yeah, you can see this battle for fourth, and you never know in production. It's not over till it's over, so you want to try to pick up each and every position you can. Somebody could break right at the very end or not cross the line, run out of gas, have a flat tire. Anything can happen.
The Datsun should be more nimble on this infield, but the Volkswagen probably has an edge. Luckily for the Datsun, the start-finish line is right as you come off the corner, not going into turn one.
You can
I've
see,
often thought about that. If start finish was down by turn 1, I think we'd have some different results.
absolutely, you work that draft, and we've only seen a few of the cars, F500 being one of those that was able to work that draft and get by somebody. You see Meller, this is the best battle for 4th here, with Banna in 5th as Jason Isley out of turn number 13 onto turn 14 in that racer.com TRD Toyota Yaris Hoosier tired car. Driven motor oil coming down to the front stretch here. How about that? Double checkered flags crossing the yard of bricks. Your gold medal winner, Jason Isley in H Production.
Back to back.
Congratulations.
Oh,
they get together too.
Together on the last part.
No, Meller and Banna, and it looks like there's heavy damage to his car. Not sure if that was another problem for a car there too. Is Ron Bartel coming through? He'll get 3rd, and it was Schaffma into 2nd place. So Schaffma gets the 2nd.
Well, the stewards will be looking at that one, no doubt about that. Unfortunately, I was worried about that.
Yeah, they battle through. That's gonna, I think, move up Celegrin up to that 4th place.
He just got himself clear, and there he is coming back onto the straight.
Let's take a quick look here and see if you can tell me what happened here, Dorsey.
He's going to get hit.
Well,
Told you.
Very eloquently there.
Yeah.
You see the damage done, both of those cars, that right front on Meller.
Well, and that's a shame
car.
because the Datsun had nothing to do with that wreck at all. He didn't do anything wrong. The Volkswagen driver, I'm sure, will have a penalty that he'll be looking at. He just drills the Datsun and knocks him out of the way. But last lap, last couple corners, championship run, Indy, you know.
You got to go for it no matter what.
You got to go for it.
Unfortunately, it's a little too much, and I'm sure they'll shake hands and hopefully be friends at the end and live to race another day. But it is this man of the hour right now, Jason Isley, in that Toyota Yaris, picking up his 2nd, I believe, SCCA National Championship.
Probably too many for most of my to-date.
I'm trying to think, I don't know. Look at my stat sheet here. I believe this is Jason Isley's 1st national championship. He was 2nd at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, 2nd by 10/100ths or 10,000th of a second. No, last year I believe he got 2nd place as well at Mid-Ohio. Yeah, so 2nd at Mid-Ohio. So this is his 1st SCCA national championship with that Toyota Yaris. Yeah, Lynn was the one that won last year. So this is Jason Isley, and I know he's been developing that car for, I believe, about 5 years now. So congratulations. Sorry about the stat there. Was reading the wrong the stat book here as Jason Isley gets the gold medal, his 1st time here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What a great shot rolling in here. And you talk about the development to this car. This is the last car got crushed. Isley already has his helmet off, man. Hayward is down there ready for the interview.
Thank you.
Jason Isley, you have waited a long time for a boring H production race. How does it feel to bring this car home to victory lane?
And I tell you, it's getting 2nd place 3 years in a row. You know, I'm appreciative for what I had, but it was getting old. It was time to change that. And I really got to thank everyone at Toyota that stood behind us since we started this project. Paul Zaplicki, who launched it, Alan Vaught, who's been our champion, that's kept it running. The credit to this one really goes to Jesse Prather Motorsports. Jesse Prather built me an awesome motor this year and really made up for that one that got away at Daytona. That was the one I really wanted. Got to thank Driven Racing Oil, Hoosier Tires. Those were awesome. Hawk Brakes, so many great people. Church Automotive Testing. We had a lot of people help put this together. It's been a lot of years. We never thought this would be a competitive car. We just thought it'd be a fun way to show how good the Toyota Yaris was, how reliable it was, and man, now we finally brought it home as a national champion.
Was there a point in time in this race where you started thinking, I've got this, or was this nerve-wracking to the very end?
No, it was nerve-wracking to the very end because you didn't get lappers one at a time. You were getting clumps of cars, and it was so hard to pass those guys that even down to the last lap, white flag, turn 1, I mean, I came on a clump of cars, didn't want to get stuck behind them, and locked the brakes up and thought, uh-oh. So it was a nail-biter all the way. I was going 110% the whole time, never laid back because, you know, I don't know what those guys behind me were doing if they were in conservation mode. So, no, I just gave it 110% all the way to the flag.
Well, congratulations to you, a first national championship here at the Runoffs.
Thank you.
And a good job. Well done.
I got to make you think, well, there'll be an article about that in Racer.com, I'm sure, with Jason Isley getting his first national championship runoffs. Christopher Schasma in second place, Ron Bartel. Boy, the championships and the runoffs that he's had sitting in third. Vesa Silgren in fourth. Brian Lynn able to get a top 5 after his victory last year at the runoffs. Eric Vickerman in sixth. Greg Gopper seventh. Heinrich Binzik in eighth. And Daniel Miller in that Datsun able to get 9th. And how about Fred White, his first runoffs win, or runoffs, and getting into that top 10.
Just here at this racetrack, everything is so special. These guys will never forget this day.
Well, that Volkswagen Golf Rabbit there finishing in second place. Christopher Schasma, Hayward's with him.
Chris, your first runoffs on the podium. They're just all going to be like this, right?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say that. This was really one heck of a week. You know, I wasn't sure we were even going to be able to race when I showed up here on Saturday. We threw the car in the wall hard at the June Sprints at the Kink and spent every waking hour between now and Monday afternoon putting it back together. I'm really thrilled to be here. A lot of people helped me. Chuck Mathis built an awesome motor. Hoosier made some great tires. Chris Albin, my wife Brandy, both of my boys, Luke and Nick, just so much work by so many people. It really feels good to have gotten through the weekend with some success.
Well, tremendous satisfaction we can see with the silver medal here at the Runoffs.
Thanks a lot.
Well, congratulations to him. First runoffs, not bad to get a silver medal, Dorsey.
No, it's here. Are you kidding me? You know, and when you survive a crash at the Kink, that's life-changing sometimes. I mean, for all the help that he got from all his friends, I can totally understand that. You can't do it alone. There's no way.
Yeah, and you talk about Isley said he really wanted that Daytona one. Can't think there be one much sweeter here than Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, he could be rethinking that after he gets some time to calm down. That was a great drive. No question about it.
And earning his 6th runoffs podium, the man that's done it all in H production, Hayward Wagner's with our third place finisher today.
Ron Bartel, your 6th time on the podium here at the Runoffs. You got a couple of championships in your history. This looked like a pretty fun race for you.
Well, it was a tough one, that's for sure. I got a nice start. That helped a lot. I don't know what happened to some of the other cars back there, but that set me off, and I did my best to keep up with the tin tops, but I just didn't have enough for them. But I tried my hardest. It was fun. It was fun. The car handled great. The Hoosier tires were beautiful. They just hung in there the whole time. It was a lot of fun.
Well, congratulations to you on a great finish here at the Indy Runoffs.
Thank you. Thank you. It was good.
Yeah, great run there, and you see that his 26th time in the runoffs. He's done it all in that H production category, too.
Is that not amazing? I mean, that car, like I said, that car was around when I was running. That's been a long time since I've been in an SCCA race.
Well, good fun here. Just the glorious shots you see here, the pagoda at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Some great action all race long, Dorsey.
And that could have been a whole lot worse as a bunch of guys got pushed around and shoved around, and that was an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, just got the oil there on the track. You can see that. Brian Lynn down to the inside of Gopper there. The action was all race long here in H production, but it was this guy right here, Jason Isley, picking up his first runoffs gold here, and he does it at Indianapolis Motor Speedway to get it done. He said he really wanted the Daytona one. I can't think of a much sweeter place to get it done here at the SCCA runoffs. Dorsey, it's been a great day here for H production.
It has been a great day and a great weekend for everybody. We've had a fantastic runoff, so one of the very best, no doubt.
Well, you see the pagoda, the pylon, the grandstands, the front stretch, the pit lane. H production is in the books here at the 54th running of the SCCA Championship Runoffs. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you all next year.
Coverage of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs is presented by Mazda. Driving matters.
Can you feel something without touching it? See something with your eyes closed. When everything is designed around you, the driver, you can. The Mazda 3.
Every stitch is a part of me. All these shapes and designs express our devotion to craftsmanship. I want people to feel our passion when they touch it and when they drive it.
the all-new Mazda CX-5.
Well, thanks for joining us to our coverage here at SCCA.com. All the action started here on Friday with T1. You can see some of the action going with the big supercars, so to speak, in the touring car category.
And a handful for some of these guys as we go to the open wheel categories and watch them. This turn one, a nemesis for every class.
Oh yeah, the F Formula Atlantic race, the Prototype 2s racing together here. Great run for Keith Grant, earning that win. Jeff Schaefer in the P2 category. Here's your old stomping ground, Spec Racer Ford.
72 cars, my goodness, how could you get through all that? And some of them didn't make it quite as cleanly as others, but what a show they put on.
Ms. Rodino getting the win there in Spec Racer Ford. And how about Spec Miata too as well? 72 cars strong here.
72, of course, the track limitation. And we saw it several times. Some of the most fantastic racing. I went on the infield for a while and watched 72 cars come at me. It's frightening in a way.
Yeah, Justin Pardis getting the win there in Spec Miata. Here's our Formula F category with the traditional Ford engines and also the new 1500cc Honda motor. But what a great battle that was with, I believe, Cowley getting the win there. And you saw some action there all race long in Formula F.
All in all, very clean runoffs. Throughout the weekend long, there's Huppaker going by. Some engine problems we've seen. This is a long front straightaway, and it caused its share of trouble.
And how special was this F production? Eric Prill getting the win.
Eric Prill finally wins. Man, I cannot believe. I'm so glad I was here.
GT2 category as well, and this is the big ones, the Chevy Corvettes. You got tube frame cars.
Adam
Andretti all over the track
big
as
power
well.
Slide out the outside.
Andrew Aquilante earning his second Runoffs championship here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the same day.
Put on a clinic. He put on a clinic, no doubt about it. A couple of a Mini Cooper right there, mixing it up. Andrew Aquilani really had a special weekend, no doubt about that.
Well, Touring 3 it was. Derek Kulak earning his second straight Runoffs victory. Picked up the 100th win for Nissan last year. Makes it 101 Runoffs wins for Nissan here. And how about David Doherty in B-Spec picking up his 10th championship?
Just saw the yard of bricks back there for Doherty. Comes out of retirement. He hasn't driven in quite a while and does a number 10. Good for him.
Into the GT category as well for GT3. See those cars here. Our Formula Continental race and good battle there. Rob Allaire running through. Did some production for us as our own Clark Camber ran the Spec Miata race. So Rob Allaire doing a good job of stepping into the booth and gets a podium space as well. There's Jesse Prather in his Mazda RX-7 and big heads-up drive there. Just missing that. As I believe that was, I'm not sure, the 24th, I think it was Wakaki there trying to get through there. But there, Jesse Prather, but Kip Van Stenberg getting the win in E-Production.
And again, Spec Racer, this is the Gen 2, I think.
Gen 3 cars,
I'm sorry.
yep. Oh.
And a miscue right
Bobby
at the start.
Sack, yeah,
Bobby Sack. And we one of the guys that we thought could win. And a little up and over.
Almost 1,000 of these Spec Racer Fords have been made, but Tim Ayers gets the win. Spec Racer Ford 3, and here it was, the battle in STL for the Adam Roberts, his very first Runoffs, getting the win there in that Meyer Motorsports Civic. And well, you talk about a sedan, the weekend that he had there for
right there, yeah, for sure. Blown tire. Andy McDermott from the back trying to run, big blown engine right here.
Into our T2 category, one of my favorite classes. There's Gumby there on pit lane, and into our Prototype 1. These were some cool cars, of course. Jim Downing there leading the way in P1.
And that was a little miscue as well as Miller got taken out. This was a good save, if nothing else.
Yeah, Formula 1000. Those cars are so fast as well.
Formula B, as they call it, they're such lightweight cars. And this, the biggest hit of the entire weekend.
Good news, I got word, Dorsey, on those drivers?
Yeah, both drivers okay, and we were really concerned. That was a vicious hit right there in turn one.
Formula E that started on things off here Saturday morning as Ray Mason gets down into the sand trap, spins backwards there, and you see the championship win for Formula E. And then how about this? This is your neck of the woods, Dorsey Schrader, GT1.
Big board, and it was David Pinteric who did such a great job of holding everybody back, and Cadillac wins.
Ooh, look at this. Verison's in that Formula V was really just the class of the field here. And like you said, Dorsey, just a big melee there in turn one.
39 cars, if I recollect right. It was a lot of cars, that's for sure.
Some of the action here in our Formula V category, and there he is getting the win in FV and into GTL. These are our smaller displacement GT categories.
Peter Zecker with a little spin there right in front of Steve Sargis.
But how about Chris Bobus getting the win? And then T4 a little bit later here, as you've got the lower displacement, our slowest of our T4 categories, but no lacking on the action in T4. Breaking a hub there in that Mazda MX-5.
That was a rude exit right there.
It was Oscar Jackson getting his second win of the championship. And here to F5. Boy, this was an action-packed race. It seemed like they never could calm down here all race long.
I was sitting out there and he'd listen to these screamers around here. It was something else.
Let's click Macamhoon gets the thing, and oh boy, STU, and you see Ed Moser just locking up there into turn number 1 as our there's John Weisberg kind of go through here. Ed Moser working his way back up. You got all the different makes and models. This is one of those newer category classes, but still getting it done here at the Runoffs.
Guys had a great race there, no doubt about it. Max Gee, great job.
And we just saw the action here in H production to close out our 54th running of the SCCA Runoffs action. It was no less intense than any of the other categories here all race long. 28 national champions crowned, including this one, Jason Isley, as he crosses the yard of bricks in H production.